Now, this is a funny thing about English, that we have a word for all the frequencies, less certain, then a little bit more certain, that is may, then it is more certain, that is can or should, then it is even more certain, that is must. Everyone is greeting her, everyone is showing more respect towards her more. So yes, she must be the teacher. So that is like a strong probability. Not 100% here. She may not be the teacher, but she must be the teacher because all the conditions that I'm talking about are favorable. Might is less certain. Might also talks about possibility, but it is even lesser possibility than may.
Welcome to Uninterrupted, where communication means no interruption.
Welcome to another lesson of modal verbs, and in this lesson we will be moving forward with our modal verbs. So we will start with should. I would say the most used modal verb, and it is important, it is easy to understand, and it is easy to use. All right. But before I really hope before I start should, you have covered other modal verbs like can, may, and could. Yes. All right. Very well. So we will start with should. So the first and foremost use of should is for giving advice to someone. Should is mainly used for advice, and there are other usage of it that we will discuss. So when we talk about advice, like think of you want to tell someone that, study well. You want to give the advice of studying well or working hard. So how will you say that? You should study well. You should work really hard. He should, it should, we should. We don't have to worry about the pronoun here because with modal verbs, we don't worry about pronouns, right? But I'm just reminding you that. All right. So one use of should is you should advise, basically, that you should study well to get good marks. You should work hard if you want to get a good job. Right? So that is like an advice. You should take an umbrella because it's going to rain. Even for the small, big advice, because advice and advice, like I'd go out and, I went out and I saw that, okay, it's about to rain, or it may rain. It may rain. So I can advise someone to carry umbrella. Carry an umbrella with you because it may rain today. So that is also an advice, right? Then should is also used for expectations. When we set expectations, we can use should here. How? Like, for example, I expect her to meet me today. Yes. So if my expectations are that she will call me today or she will meet me today, then I can tell that, or I can say that by using should. She should call me today by evening. Or she should be here by 6 p.m. today. That means I expect her to be here by 6 p.m. today, or I expect her to call me today, right? So for expectations, for advice, we use should. Got this? Very well. Just like advice, should is also used for a duty or like a recommendation, right? So if I've given you any assignment, so instead of saying must is like 100%, about to be 100%. So must is more obligatory. Should is a little less than must. We'll talk about it when we discuss the usage of must. So in should, I can say that you should complete your assignments by tomorrow, or your assignments should be completed by tomorrow. So I'm not saying must because what if something happens? What if you're not able to do it? So I'm not saying must, but I'm adding should, that it is an action that you have to take. It is like a suggestion from my side, but it is your duty that you should complete your assignments today evening or by tomorrow. Okay? So these are the usage of should. Mainly it is used for advice. And in advice, we have subparts, like we're talking about expectations. We are talking about, recommendation. We are talking about someone's duty. That is when we use should. Easy, right? You should study all the modal verbs clearly. That's like an advice or recommendation from my side. Yes. You should watch this movie. It's really nice. That is also a recommendation from my side. So in advice and recommendation, there's like a very small difference. In advice, we are telling someone of something that will benefit them if they do, if they follow in life. Advice is to be followed. Recommendation is basically like I'm recommending you a piece of music, any art piece. I'm recommending you to use, let's say, a simple any product. I'm recommending you to watch a video, listen to a music video, or I'm recommending you to watch a movie. So it is like a product or service that I'm suggesting you. That is more like recommendation. For advice, it is more like you have to follow something. So that's the difference, okay? So we got clear idea of usage of should. Now we will move towards must and might. Must is like force. Must is obligation. Must is like 99.9%. Yes, that is what must is. Must is like you don't have any other choice. But must is most certain. That is what must is. So in place of must, if I say something, that means that's likely to happen, more certain. So I can say that she must be there at the moment. Like she must be in her class at this moment. So that means I am talking about an obligation. I'm talking about a certainty from my side that, okay, this is 11 a.m. So she must be in her class because she has to be in her class. There are her class is scheduled at this time. Everything is fine in her life. So there is no chance that she'll be missing her class. That is what must is. She must be there in her class at 11 a.m. or at this time. Obligation, certainty. You must study this question or this lesson. This is also certainty. You must study this chapter. That means that is certain that there are going to be questions from this chapter. So there is no chance that you or anyone is going to miss this chapter. So you must cover this chapter in your syllabus. All right. I'm a teacher, so I'm giving you example from studies or chapter, or like you must study hard or you must study this chapter. But yes, you're getting my point, right? It is for certainty. It is for surety. It is for obligation. It is more like for truth. Yes. It is for force. That is what must is. Must is for strong probability. Must is for strong recommendation. That is what must is for. Like, for example, I am recommending you a book that is like amazing and everyone is reading it out there and everyone is amazing. You know, I like books. So yeah, that's why I'm giving you book example. So what if I give you the book example by saying you must read this book? It is amazing. That means I'm not taking no for an answer. That means it is so good that you must read it. That is certain. All right. So that is how it is for certain probability. Like I see someone standing there in a proper, suit attire, and I see that everyone is wishing him or her good morning, good afternoon. So I can say from here that, oh, he must be the manager. Everyone is talking to him. She must be the teacher. Everyone is greeting her. So there's like a must probability. Like everyone is acting normal. Everyone is acting normal means everyone is there and looking like a common group, but she's different. She's odd one out. Everyone is greeting her. Everyone is showing more respect towards her more. So yes, she must be the teacher. So that is like a strong probability. Not 100% here. She may not be the teacher, but she must be the teacher because all the conditions that I'm talking about are favorable in the favor of her being the teacher here. So you're getting my part? Strong probability, strong obligation, truthfulness, and strong possibility is what must is used for. After should and must, I'm going to take you towards less strong, or like I would say very less strong possibility. It's like lesser than may is. That is what might. So we will discuss the usage of might here. Might is less certain. Might also talks about possibility, but it is even lesser possibility than may. Like if I say it may rain today, that means I've seen the condition and it looks like it will rain. So I can say that it may rain because it may not also, right? But might is like even lesser condition because, this is rainy season, but the weather doesn't look like it may rain. But I'm still saying that, it might rain tomorrow because it is rainy season. So I'm just taking one condition and telling. So it is less certain. So might is also talking about possibility, but it is not a certain or it is not a very more certain possibility. It is very less certain possibility. So I can say that it may rain tomorrow only because it has been raining or only because I see that, okay, it is rainy season. So it may rain tomorrow. Okay. So that is less certain possibility. Now, this is a funny thing about English that we have a word for all the frequencies, less certain, then a little bit more certain, than that is may, then it is more certain that is can or should, then it is even more certain that is must. So we have a word for all the certainties and all the frequencies, which is a good thing also. It's like you have so many options to use, right? So might is used for less certain, might is used for imaginary situations also, and might is used when we are talking about less common but polite situations. Okay. So less common and polite situations, imaginary situations, and less certain possibilities. Let me give you one example of all three situations and you will get the idea of it, right? So I tell you, for the first one, less certain possibility, I have already given you the example that it might rain tomorrow. She might come tomorrow. Like we have not discussed, we have not talked, but I'm just feeling that she might come tomorrow. Less certain. So she might come tomorrow. It may rain tomorrow. That is for less certain possibility. Getting me? For less common polite suggestions or polite, advice, for less common, which is not like very common and you don't have to give that advice, but I see someone doing something and I'm just giving that advice and they may not follow it. So I can say that you might want to write the answers down so that you can learn them clearly. So from my side, I feel like writing the answers work for me, but it may not work for other person. So that is why it is for less certain suggestions, less common suggestions. So I'm just politely saying that, hey, you might want to try writing the questions down. For me, it works, right? So that is for less common but polite suggestions. Last use of might, as I discussed with you, is imaginary or hypothetical. Hypothetical also means imaginary. It is like a word which means imaginary. So when we talk about imaginary or hypothetical, it is same. So I know that would is used for that, and I were is also used for in the situations. Had is used in this situation. But I will not discuss that because I'll be talking about imaginary situations or hypothetical situations later. But right now, if I'm talking about might, sometimes we use it in imaginary situations also. Less common, but yes, sometimes we do. Like, I can say that I might travel more only if I had more time. Like, this is imagination. I have not traveled more, but I'm thinking that if I had more time, then I might travel more. So in this situation, in this particular, in this particular sentence, we have also used had, but we will talk about the usage of had later. So don't worry, do not get confused and do not even think about using had right now because I'll discuss that. Okay. So I hope might is clear, should is clear, may can is clear, could is clear, should, and yes, I will discuss must is clear, and I will discuss other remaining modal verbs with you in next lesson. See you there. Bye-bye.